Hey everyone, my name is Miss Onnis, and you are here for the Madison High School Family Connection Night. Welcome. This video is going to go over my second period class, which actually houses two classes at the same time, Introduction to Education and Educational Internship. So welcome. Thanks for coming tonight. A little bit about me, since we are meeting digitally. I just wanted to give you a sense of who I am as a teacher. This is my 9th year at Madison High School teaching in the English Language Arts department. I've worn a couple different hats. I've been a department liaison. I have certifications in high school English Language Arts, a reading specialist endorsement. I've completed courses through the Oregon Writing Project, and I'm also a CTE teacher, so I have an education preparation license. I grew up here in Tigard, Oregon. One of the few folks who seems to have stuck around. Maybe some of you are the same. I'm a mom to two. I have a 4-year-old Miriam and almost 2-year-old Silvio. Teaching is definitely a part of the family. My husband's also a teacher here in Portland Public Schools. He teaches 9th grade English at Benson. And we also have another staff member who will be floating around in our Zoom classrooms with us. Miss Bradley is a student teacher at Lewis and Clark, and she's going to be with us over the course of the whole year. So you might be hearing from her. Your students might be getting feedback and conferencing with her. She will also be in our classroom this year for Intro to Education. You're probably going to see a lot of these faces and characters floating around. This is just a virtual locker. We'll be asking students to make some of these themselves to show their values, just as a way to introduce themselves to the community. So you can see some pictures of my kids here. We also have Miss Bradley's virtual locker as well. Some of her favorite things, her partner, her pets. This is one of the many ways we're going to be trying to get to know your students as well throughout the year. When talking specifically about our education class, there's a couple things that I want to go over with you all. First, one being, what is our class about? If your student is in Introduction to Education, the class is going to be covering a couple different things. We're going to learn about the many careers in the world of education. It takes more than just teachers to keep our students fully supported. So we'll be interviewing some folks, and we'll also be conducting our own interviews. We're going to be learning about some developmental and learning theories, looking specifically at students K through 8. And we're also going to be diving into a project-based inquiry assignment where students will pick a topic and be designing solutions towards problems that they see in education. The other goal and piece we're trying to iron out is actually getting your student into a classroom as well, preferably with younger K through 8 students. Maybe they'll be supporting if there's a younger sibling or student living in their home. They can be helping out with that classroom. But if we were in person, we'd be conducting an internship in the spring. That's often the most joyful part of class. So we are looking to re-envision that opportunity while we're all on our computers. I do have 4 students in the second year class, the educational internship course. There, we are also going to be looking at some developmental and learning theories, a little bit of a psychology lens. They'll be helping out in a classroom as well, but for a longer period of time than the first year Intro to Education students. We'll be taking an exam called the TSA at the end. As we get closer to January, we'll talk about that. We'll be keeping a professional website and learning journal as a way to document your work, how you're interacting with students, what you're applying from what you've learned in class. And time pending, we'll have a professional book club where we read a novel about teaching and discuss it in a book club format. So a lot of different things going on, but always centered on education in schools and really trying to re-envision what might the work look like if your student enters into a career or profession that is school adjacent. Quickly, I want to talk a little bit about grades in our class. If you're familiar with a 4-point scale, the grading system might seem similar to you, but we are essentially going to be using this as a criteria rubric here. So students will be getting a score of either exceeds, meets, revise, or submit. If your student's getting that incomplete binary, it means that we just want them to come in during that asynchronous learning time to revise and then submit to get their work up to a higher score. If they're getting the complete score, exceeds or meets, then they're doing okay and they are heading towards what we would normally see as an A or a B on that traditional report card readout. Another way to think about how grades work is if they're getting exceeds on most of their learning targets on the criteria, this is the letter grade they'd receive. If they're getting mostly meets, they'd be getting this letter grade, and so on. Mostly, you'll want to be able to ask your student to pull up Canvas, and if they're getting incompletes, that's that time we'd be using that asynchronous learning to have some one-on-one check-ins and revise work. So that's a little bit about our course. I'm going to be leaving the rest of our family connection time open to you. I'll be posting the link to our Jamboard in the chat. And what I really want to know is you all are the experts on your students. So I would love to hear from you. A Jamboard is a tool that we use in class, and it's a way to create sort of a digital sticky note trail. So the questions I'll be asking you to contribute to on the Jamboard are: what strengths does your student have? The second screen, when you click over, will ask, where does your student experience challenges or frustrations? Third, I'm wondering, are there other questions you have about our course? If there's anything that I can address or explain again, I want to know, so please tell me. And if you're interested in scheduling a virtual home visit, that's something we can plan out as well. And the Jamboard is going to be the place where you can communicate your student's name and a good time when your family could connect, could talk. I look forward to your questions in the chat. We'll be hanging around for a little bit longer during this class period, and I hope to hear from you. Thanks again for coming to Family Connections Night.